Hello everyone. I will be talking about how to study mathematics. I think it is important that people learn what skills they need in order to study this subject before they actually go ahead and start this subject. Because a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about mathematics. They think it's too hard. Some people think it's too dry. People think that they don't have the aptitude, they don't have the IQ or intelligence to study mathematics. So I think it is important that we first take a look at what you really need in order to be good at math. Okay? So the first thing you will have to understand is that mathematics is just like any other language. Like in any language you have the alphabets. Okay? For example, in the English language you have the alphabet A. It's just a symbol, right? It didn't come from heaven that this is what the A is going to look like, but people made a symbol, and then that symbol was taught to other people that this symbol sounds A. Okay, so it makes the sound A, and so on. And then there are rules to combine these letters and form words. Then there are rules to combine these words to form sentences and paragraphs and so on, and communicate. Okay? Similarly, in mathematics you need to understand that it is a language. There are a lot of symbols. People get confused or scared by the symbols, but the symbols are actually just like alphabets. They're there to make our life actually easier. Once you learn the symbol, it makes things easier. Just like when you're learning the English language and you learn the alphabet, once you understand that A means A and B is B and so on, then it actually helps you communicate. You can understand things. Similarly, you learn the symbols, you understand what they mean in mathematics, and then you learn its rules. How is a particular symbol to be used? Okay? So we use these rules to form meaningful statements in mathematics. Mathematics is just not symbols and formulas. These are actually statements which are in the language of mathematics. Then what we do, we use these statements to solve specific problems. Okay? So you need to learn the rules, need to apply the rules to form meaningful statements, and then use logical methods to use these statements to solve problems. That is what mathematics is basically. It's a language. Okay? So here is the example I'm going to give you. So suppose I am trying to figure out what happens if I add 3 apples to 4 apples. Well, somebody sits down and they start counting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They said, oh, you get 7 apples. Okay? Now if I were to apply this in mathematics, it seems like there is a lot of words here. Okay? And if I am working on big problems, I would spend, if I continue to write words like this, I'd spend too much time on writing words rather than solving the problem. Okay? So what we do in mathematics, we invent symbols, okay, to simplify our lives. For example, the word 3, it becomes the symbol 3, if you can see here. So wherever I have to use this word 3, I will replace it by this symbol 3. Similarly, the word 4 is symbolized by this symbol. Okay? The word add is symbolized by this symbol, the plus sign, which we call it. And what do I get when I add 3 to 4? Well, the result is symbolized what we call the equality sign. Okay? And then this word 7 is symbolized by this symbol. Okay? So what happens as a result, that this whole long sentence is now actually more manageable. Okay? Now I can write it this way. 3 apples plus 4 apples is equal to 7 apples. Okay? Now what happens next is that I realize that the same principle applies with oranges, with cars, with books, You know, with any object. If I add 3 oranges to 4 oranges, I'll get 7 oranges. If I add 3 cars to 4 cars, I get 7 cars. 3 books to 4 books, I get 7 books. So in mathematics, this is the next thing we do. First, we apply symbols to make things, shorter, and then we figure out what the general implication is. The general implication is that this rule, which we wrote here at the bottom, 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. This is a universal rule, regardless of whether we are dealing with apples or with oranges or with cars or with anything. Okay? So we generalize this statement into a mathematical rule. Okay? So this is an example of how we make lives easier for ourselves. If you notice, this long sentence has not only been made concise here, short here, but also we've actually made a general rule. It is much more than this sentence. So it's actually making life easier for us. Okay. So learn the language. Do not be afraid or confused when new notation is introduced. As you learn new concepts, new notations will be introduced. But most mathematics books and teachers, they will define the notation. So it's not that, oh, they'll give you a symbol and you say, oh, you are supposed to figure out. Well, when we start using a notation, we'll define it. Well, this means that. The plus sign means I'm adding things, and so on. Yeah? Remember, the goal is to use this new language to solve problems. That is our goal. Our goal is not to invent symbols and to get lost in the notation. Our goal is to solve problems. So what are the qualities that are needed for you to be good at math? Yes, it's true, you need some intelligence, of course. You need some aptitude, that's all true. But these are secondary things. There are other qualities which are absolutely necessary for you to have in order to become good at math. Number 1, discipline. Basically, you need to have a personality where you learn orderly pattern of behavior. Mathematics is all about order. First comes step 1, then comes step 2, then comes step 3, and so on. You cannot jump from step 1 to step 15. If you do that, or if you try to do that, you're just going to fall, stumble and fall. I often tell my students that suppose you're walking on a road. I'll draw a little diagram here. Suppose you're walking on a road here. Here's you walking. And there's this big ditch here. And you need to get to the opposite side. If you try to jump, you're going to fall. But what you do, you go step by step. And ultimately, you make it across. So if you try to jump, you'll fall on your head. But step by step, disciplined approach is what is needed in mathematics. Number 2, focus. That is the ability to concentrate. You are studying a mathematical concept, but if you're thinking at the same time, oh, I have to go to this party tonight, what will I wear to the party? Or what movie am I supposed to watch, right after this thing? Then you're not going to understand the math. When you're doing mathematics, do mathematics. Stop thinking about what is going to happen in the future or what happened in the past. Focus, concentrate. That is very important. Perseverance. Perseverance means your continued effort despite difficulties. What happens if you have this attitude that if you come across anything that is difficult at first sight, then you immediately give up, you will not do well in math. You have to develop the attitude of perseverance. That, okay, yes, this is difficult, but I will keep digging. I will keep working on it until I figure it out. It may take much, much longer than what you're comfortable with. But perseverance is very important in mathematics. Patience, perseverance and patience are actually related, okay? But patience is not hasty or impetuous, okay? Don't be, a person who is just, oh, I have to get it right now, and if it doesn't happen right now within 5 minutes or within 30 seconds, okay, then, it's not worth it. No. You have to develop patience, okay? That is another attitude. Practice. This is very important with mathematics. Repeatedly use the idea that you're learning with your own hand. Okay? You can have a teacher stand in front of you and do 5,000 examples of a topic on board, and you will probably understand each one of them. You'll sit there and nod your head, yeah, I understand it. But until and unless you practice it with your own hand, you will not learn. Okay? So it is important that when you learn a mathematical idea, you practice. How you practice? You find problems, exercises, and do them. And make sure that you feel comfortable with the idea. Okay? Then a positive mindset. This has to actually do with psychology, auto-suggestion or auto-hypnosis. This is very important. It is important for you to learn. Very briefly, I will give you a psychology lesson. That our mind has two basic parts. One is the conscious mind and the other is the subconscious mind. Okay? The conscious mind is what is responsible for all your thinking processes, all the analysis, all the thoughts you have. Okay? It has the ability to analyze and think. Yes, the subconscious mind, on the other hand, doesn't have the ability to think or analyze. It has the ability to obey orders really well. Yeah, so for example, when you're initially learning to ride a bicycle, if you remember, if you learn, initially you fall a lot because your subconscious hasn't learned it and you're thinking about it. Okay? But once you've practiced it enough, you've learned it, when the next time you sit on the bicycle, you don't even think about it. You just ride it. This is your subconscious doing it. Okay? So it is important for you to give positive suggestions to your subconscious. Okay? If you keep thinking that, oh, mathematics is too difficult, this topic is too hard, I will never understand it, I don't understand it, I'm not as smart as the other people, and so on, then your subconscious will take these statements or these thoughts of yours as orders. And so it will make sure that it will find things in mathematics that you don't understand, that you'll find difficult. Okay? On the other hand, if you keep a positive mindset, he says, well, this is something that I have to learn. It's other people do it, I can do it too. Okay? I just have to learn it. Okay? It is not difficult, it's just something new. Okay? I will learn it. Okay? So then your subconscious will take that positive mindset as an order and say, well, this person wants things to be easy. So it'll make sure that as you study mathematics, it tries to make things look easy to you. Okay? So it is very important. Okay? In fact, these 4 P's here, patience, perseverance, practice, and positive mindset, very important. And of course, the final thing is hard work. There are no magic tricks in life. Nothing happens by magic. Nobody succeeds by magic. Okay? The reality is that all the successful people in the world you see, successful, okay? Not just rich, successful people you see in the world are people who have done hard work. You cannot learn or excel in something without hard work. So you have to be ready to do hard work. Okay? So with these 7 characteristics or qualities and attitudes, you have to learn them. You have to make sure that when you go to study mathematics, you go with these ideas, with these